So, what is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and good morning to you all. So, this is a very big video. This is going to be a two-section video because there's going to be this stuff for Master Duels in both videos. But one is a Forbidden Limited list and an update to the Forbidden Limited list, while the other one is going to be a event that's coming up with its own Forbidden Limited list, and that's to help you start up those things if you wanted to play in that event. So we're going to start off, of course, with the big one. This is the Forbidden Limited list for Master Duel that goes into effect September 30th, so literally the end of the month. And it's funny because not too long ago, we just received a change to the Forbidden Limited list in Master Duel, and I did a video on it as well. And then here we are with the new list. And yes, you do see the image there. That is Spellbook of Judgment. That is the currently OCG unforbidden card for the spellbooks, and the only card on this list, I believe, that was spellbook oriented, and now it's coming back to Master Duel. So let me tell you guys exactly what's going on with this update. So we have the new Forbidden Limited list. It goes into effect for them for Master Duel players September 30th. So here's what's hit. Newly forbidden, Harpie Vibrax is now forbidden. Newly limited is Water Enchantress of the Temple. Newly semi-limited, and actually they, I'll clarify the Spellbook Judgments. They have that little piece below. Newly semi-limited, and this is a big list. We have Gozen Match, Rival Warlords, ABC Dragon Buster, Dino Wrestler Patriotops, Double Iris Magician, Orcut Horror, Spiral Quick Fix, Raigeki, Red Reboot, Trickstar Light Stage, Trishula Dragon of the Ice Barrier, and Wind-Up Carriers in Mighty. Then, no longer limited, is Harmonizing Magician and the Beginning of the End. The additional card that they are adding, of course, is like I mentioned earlier, Spellbook of Judgment is being added to the limited section, along with Water Enchantress of the Temple. This is due to the fact that later on they're going to be producing a structure deck for Spellbook that comes out September 20th. And the spellbook and the structure deck is going to be called Spellbook of Prophecy. It will feature spell cards and monsters that will support summoning the Exceed monsters from the extra deck, as you can see here. This deck will feature these cards, and regardless to the Forbidden Limited list that will be included. So we have Crowley, the First Prophecyr. We have Empress of Prophecy, Spellbook of Secrets, Spellbook of Knowledge, Fortune Lady Every. And the deck will be available September 20th. So actually, this helps me because I love spellcasters. Spellcasters are like my other deck that I would play if I ever had the chance to, besides my Harpies. You can also see that in the various number of Shadal deck profiles on the channel as well, and Fortune Ladies and stuff like that. And I'm actually very happy Fortune Lady Every is going to be able to be accessible because she's one of my favorite Fortune Ladies, like the Fortune Lady Light, and Fortune Lady Past, and Water and Fire. So yeah, I do have a big heart for Fortune Lady. So let's take a look at this list. Of course, Harpie Vibrax Reading Forbidden is kind of one of a big thing because there's been some talk about this if this ever happens to TCG, because as you know, the TCG does not have Harpie Vibrax Forbidden. I believe Harpie Vibrax is at 1. If you overall look at this situation with Harpie Vibrax, it's basically a combo starter to help you get tuners out to get other monsters to link into, or to rush into a Synchro Tuner to then rush into a Synchro Summon at that point. And there's a lot of Synchro Tuner monsters. I know Mech Myrtle Marshall is one. Formula Synchron is another. There's a ton of them. TG Wonder Magician, and then they combo into a lot of other combos. So hitting Harpie Vibrax stops all those combos overall. It forces other things to be played to try to make newer combos, and to also stop a lingering issue that, of course, was going on with some decks that really stacked on combinations to where you force out a not forced out, but you're forced into you're forced not forced. Sorry, I'm using wrong words. You're setting up the field to where your opponent does any type of special summon, you're gonna pop your back row, being the artifact site. and bringing the artifact types onto the board, which forces your opponent to not use their extra deck for the rest of the turn. And because of this, Harpie Fireworks was one of the reasons why this setup was something that happened, and it's a pretty nasty thing. And this is something that they want to stop. I think they also want to stop just the link climb itself. And it's one of the monsters that does a link climb and does it well. So that is my bit of explanation for the Harpie Fireworks. Water Enchantress of the Temple, of course, this is because of Brave tokens, and they don't like Brave tokens. They don't like it when generic token utility gets added into decks, and then people use it. That's pretty much what it is. And especially when it's top tier decks. Because you know, Konami does with their top tier decks making money. Because they still make money off of Master. I'm subjected to that rule. So, while Spellbook of Judgment is not here, it is. We do have to talk about Spellbook of Judgment. Spellbook of Judgment, for those who don't know, it is a spell. It's a quick play spell that at the end of your turn, for the number of Spellbook spell cards that were played, you can add that number of Spellbook spell cards from your deck to your hand. In addition, you can summon one monster from your deck whose level is equal to or less than any number of Spellbook spell cards that you picked up through this effect. This card is forbidden in the TCG. This card is limited in the OCG. And it's simply just due to the fact that this card is really broken for spellbooks. Only because of the fact that it has access to special summoning one particular monster. That monster is Jalgan the Spiritualist, who is a level 3 spellcaster who says while it's face up on the field, your opponent cannot neither player can summon monsters to the field, and I believe it's a flip effect as well, where if it's flip face up, when this card is flip summoned, you can destroy any special summon monsters. I think, no, you randomly discard a card from your hand to destroy special summon monsters. Sorry, it's Venom. It's just I actually have to care about Jalgan the Spiritualist, or have to deal with Jalgan the Spiritualist. But yeah, Spellbook getting their most powerful spell card back into the fray. I don't think it really changed anything in terms of spellbooks and overall. I think you'll just see more people playing it, and more people will be focusing on Jalgan and Jalgan's abilities, as well as very older versions of spellbook, because spellbook did reign supreme because of their very broken spell card. Yes, Spellbook Judgment Day was so good it was literally made Spellbook 2-0 because they had basically outs to most of the decks at the time. Spellbook of Judgment Day came out in the OCG. And fun fact, Lord Tachyon Galaxy was probably one of the biggest branches of, oh my god, this set has so many things in it and everybody wants it, because it had the new support for, it had support for a lot of decks in it. Dolce is getting Hoot Cake, the Dragon Rulers being introduced, Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack being one of the mini cards in the set that was over $100, in addition to Spellbook of Judgment, which is also over $100. The newer Harpie support, Harpie Channeler, Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, and Hysteric Sign. You had like all these various support cards, like even the cover monster was Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, and even that monster was sought out because dragons wanted to play it because of how good it became. And then later on, the extension of Dark Matter Dragon, which influenced even more things to come later on. So, when you look at stuff like this, and you look at a card like this that's extremely powerful because of what it does, it begs the difference. It's not as powerful as it was before, but can it still do things that it does now and create a balance for things? I'm going to probably say no. It's just going to be a card, and everyone's going to be like, okay, it's a thing. But I think it's also going to be a card that people are going to like, no, it's too powerful to be at multiples. Let's just keep it at the one. And yeah, that's limited. Semi-limited. In Jesus Christ, there's a lot of semi-limited here to talk about. Rival Warlords and Goes in Magic. These two cards are basically the, hey, my opponent can't play this type, or my opponent can't play this attribute. Can only play this attribute and can only play this type. And they're probably one of the oldest floodgates in Yu-Gi-Oh history, because a lot of people use a lot of these cards to take on decks that did not circumvent around specific things, one particular attribute or one particular type. having both on the field is pretty nasty because then that also relegates that, oh, damn, um, like I'm really forced into only one type, one attribute. And I know from gameplay stance in just current, in like non, just in a gameplay stance, when you look at these cards, these are floodgates. Floodgates can be stopped, but floodgates can cause problems. And it's very weird to ever see Doesn't Match Forever or Lex get semi-limited because you have so many outs to them. I guess the current meta just doesn't have a particular out to it, and maybe there's more things that protect it. And damn, that this is something I did not. There's a lot of those moments that you see with cards that come on to the Forbidden Limited list. Double A, ABC Dragon Buster. That's a nice up um, for the ABC players. Pegritas is a really good card. It's basically another version of Cyber Dragon that can blow up stuff, which is cool. Double Irish Magician to help out the Pendulum. Orcus Horpora, and I'm sure the Orcus players are coming on themselves because they want this card back in TCG so bad. They love playing this card. I don't know, this card, Orcus is a deck that it's a deck that I can respect because I know it's a lot of pieces to this deck that made it good as it as good as it is, and how on top it is when it was at its prime. And I think it's still an amazing deck. I know it's really cheap to build physically at this point. Well, I don't know actually. I think some of its bigger pieces are not cheap, but it's one of those decks that I can honestly respect because I know it takes a lot to make into Horror, make decks around the Orcus, and then even including the things that Orcus have back and forth. Spiral Quick Fix, that's to boost up the spirals. Raigeki going to multiples. Doesn't hurt the meta, doesn't change the meta, doesn't change the casual. It's just another one of those things that, hey, if we need more answers, here's your option. Same thing here with Red Reboot, and I love Red Reboot because I play a deck, of course, that likes to destroy back row and likes to force out my opponent's back row, and I like Red Reboot. You know, the trade between Red Reboots is going to be bananas, which is part of the reason why it's limited in the main game. But yeah, let's see how that works. Trickstar Light Stage. It's a card. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. It's one of those things where erratas kind of make things a fruition. And I think without Valkyrie 5 Brett, I don't know, was this ever an issue with Valkyrie 5 Brett? Because I know people can still make Trishula. I don't think it's fast. Or maybe those Turbo Synchro decks can. So maybe that's why they semi-limited. Could be a thing. Is Trisha ever limited? I don't know, because I haven't really focused too much on the match field for it, which is or it just had the energy of things. Why does there Kim Rainey's? I think it's kind of the same thing there with when you look at Raigeki and stuff. It's just like these cards are just there in more information. When you look at Wind Up Carriers, they made these. You think Wind Ups, and this is a boost to Wind Ups because now they have two of their big boss monsters being useful and the numerous combos that Wind Ups can create. And I remember Wind Up Loop. No one wants to Wind Up. Harmonizing Magician and Beginning of the End. As we all know, Dark decks were improvement thanks to Beginning of the End. In the vast majority of decks and stuff that were benefiting from Beginning of the End. So, hey, it's Beginning of the End is doing you well, go for it. I still have really much to say against the Beginning of the End. Because I was playing a massive Dark deck too, I'd be excited about playing Beginning of the End. Because it's a draw card. Banish 5 Dark Monsters, and then draw 3 cards. And there's really no other limitation to it. And there are a lot of Dark Monsters that you can trigger effects off once they're banished. There's a lot of things you can set up for the banish as well with Dark Monsters, thanks to Beginning of the End. And just the overwhelming combos and setups you can do with Beginning of the End. That's why I said I like Beginning of the End. And Harmonized Magician is kind of similar to Double Irish Magician, which is just basically to get pendulums up and going and getting things together for them. So, with that said, because there's not much I can really talk about the structure deck, but I don't know the full list of the structure deck. Well, we'll see the structure deck soon. And in terms of this video, honestly, this is going to be a massive improvement That's a setup for the Master Duels lineup. And I'm sure a lot of Master Duel players are either excited about a lot of these changes, hate a lot of these changes, are just indifferent. And I'm pretty much the middleman. I'm just indifferent. Because I normally just am like, hey, it's there. I'll play some other decks. And I'm sure a lot of people are probably asking, why we're this, and this deck. Like, cause I don't know. That's Konami. But yeah. So let me know what you guys think about the Master Duels Forbidden Limited list. Let me know in the comment section below. And with that said, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps me out tremendously. You guys let me up on social media. Those links are in the description box below. And you guys can catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Harpie Player Joe. And I'll be finishing up Crash Bandicoot 1 Insane Trilogy version. So I'll see you guys then. HJ signing out. Bye bye.